Welcome to NATEFIT Morning Mobility. We'll be spending 15 minutes getting you moving in the mornings. The goal is to help you move well and pain-free, working on tissue health and joint function. Today we're going to focus on the hips. So we're going to start off with our cars. We're going to go down into the side lying position, clasping our hands together. We're going to start off by pulling our knee to our chest, opening up into abduction, nice and slow, internally rotating, extending the hip by pushing the knee back, dropping down to midline and knees together, and then we'll reverse, pressing the hip back, coming up into abduction, pointing that knee towards the ceiling, externally rotating, pulling the knee towards the shoulder, returning to midline, and coming back to neutral. We'll start again. We're going to do 3 reps in each direction. Flexion, abduction, internal rotation, extension, adduction, knees together, and reverse with extension, abduction, external rotation, flexion, adduction, knees together. One more time. We have flexion. Again, when we're going through this, we're really trying to feel all of the tissue as we go through that range of motion. You'll notice on the lateral side of the hip, that tissue might feel like it's going to cramp. That just lets you know that we need to work on that tissue a little bit more, so going through it nice and slow will help. It'll feel better every time you do a hip car. And return to midline, knees together. We'll flip over to the other side. Flexion, abduction, internal rotation, extension, adduction, knees together, and reverse, extension, abduction, external rotation, flexion, adduction, knees together, and again. Again, the slower we go, the more control it shows us we have. We are trying to get our brain to connect with that tissue and coordinate it better. The more we loosen up this tissue, the better your hips are going to feel over time. And we'll do one more. And reverse. Excellent. So that's our hip cars. Now we're going to focus on rotation. So we're going to come into a 90-90 position. Rotation is the fundamental movement of a ball and socket joint, again our hips and our shoulders. So we're going to place our legs at a 90-degree angle here and a 90-degree angle here. We're going to turn our shoulders towards that back leg. And from here, we're going to work on external rotation. So we're going to very slowly lift our knee up off the ground, keeping this knee down, coming as high as we can. You're going to feel a little pinch in your hip because we're working the hip capsule. And then we're going to come down nice and slow, pressing that knee down and coming back up. High as you can, and pressing back down slowly. And we'll go one more time, up. Start with 3 per side, and then on the next set, we're going to go 5 per side. Excellent. We'll flip over to the other side. So coming up, high as you can, Trying not to shift the pelvis, we're just rotating the femur in socket. Pulling up, feeling that pinch coming as high as possible, and then actively pressing back down. And again. So again, if there's one thing that you can work on with your hips, it's rotation. Good, that will help your hips feel better. So we're gonna come to this position. We're just gonna rotate in and out, give those hip joints a break. And then we'll flip back over to the other side. So this time we're gonna do 5 per side. Coming up, high as you can. You'll notice you should get a little bit higher and it's gonna feel a little bit better every time that we do it. And again, coming back up. That's 2. For most people, this isn't gonna feel good. But the more you work on rotation and loosening up that connective tissue in the joint, the better it will feel over time. It's 3. Got 2 more. 4. And while you're doing this, again, we're staying as active as possible, keeping that tissue under tension. Good. And we'll flip back over to the other side. Again, nice and slow. Again, really try to open those hips up when you come up. You should notice every rep you get just a little bit further. One more. Excellent. We'll kick those legs out in front. And again, just rotate those hips. Next, we're going to work on hip extension. So we're going to come into this kneeling position. One leg out in front. While we're here, we're going to posteriorly tilt the pelvis. So again, we're trying to take that arch out of our back. That will put tension on this hip flexor. And then from here, we're going to drive this hip forward as far as you can. Feel a big stretch here. Now from here, you're going to drive your knee like you're trying to slide the ground forward. And then we'll come back. Tilt the pelvis. Push the hip forward. Drive the knee. Feel that stretch. And back. We'll do 5 of these. Pelvis. Drive the hip. Drive the knee. And back. 2 more. Good, and 1 more. Drive the knee. Excellent. I'll turn the other way so you can see this hip. We'll switch sides. Tilt the pelvis, push the hip forward, drive the knee, feel the tension, and come back. And again, tilt the pelvis, push the hip forward, drive that knee. Use as much force as possible driving that knee to get as much tension in that hip as possible. Again, the more force we use, the better result we're going to get out of lengthening our tissue. Again, tilt the pelvis, push the hip forward, feel the stretch, drive the knee. Excellent. And again, tilt the pelvis, push the hip forward, drive the knee. Excellent. Next, we're going to sit down like this. You're going to have your feet together. We're going to grab on to our ankles from here. We're going to push our elbows down into our thighs, and we're going to pull up against our elbows. So I want you to first feel a stretch in this position. Come up nice and tall, and then pull up against those elbows. You're going to feel a nice stretch in your adductors here. So get in position, chest up high, pull up into the elbows. I'm going to do this for about 10 seconds. The harder you can pull into the elbows, again, the bigger change you'll get in the tissue. And relax. Try to scoot that butt forward if you can, chest up nice and tall. We're going to take a quick rest and we'll go again. Grabbing onto the ankles, pushing the thighs down, and pulling up against the elbows. Your safest, greatest effort. Again, you'll feel a nice big stretch in your adductors or the inner thighs. And relax. And again, you can just grab onto your toes to keep you in position. And we'll go again, grabbing on to the ankles, pushing the thighs down, and then pulling against the elbows. Safest, greatest effort. And relax. We'll grab onto the toes. We're going to pull the elbows in and then drive our knees down. We're just going to do reps of this, flossing our hip joint. Nice and controlled. Excellent. We're going to do one more round of this. So grabbing onto the ankles, pushing the thighs down, pulling up against our elbows. Safest, greatest effort. Chest up nice and tall. And relax. Grab onto the toes. Take a quick break. And we'll go again, grabbing onto the ankles, pressing the thighs down, pulling into the elbows. Safest, greatest effort. Chest up nice and tall. Three, two, one, relax. Grab onto the toes, take a quick break. We got one more. And grab onto the ankles, push the thighs down, pull up against the elbows. This is our last one, pulling hard against those elbows. Produce as much force as you can. 3, 2, 1, relax, grab onto the toes, and again we'll floss. Up and down. Nice and slow. Good. Kick our legs out in front. Let's give those hips a little bit of a break. And then we're going to finish off by doing 3 more cars on each side. So coming back into this side lying position. So you'll notice now that we've stretched out the tissue and worked on the joint capsule, we should have more range of motion in our cars. So starting off by pulling the knee to the chest, opening up, getting as much range as possible, internally rotating, Press that knee back into extension as far as you can. Drop down to midline, knees together, elbow reverse, extension, abduction, external rotation, flexion, adduction, knees together, and again. Going nice and slow through this. Feel the tissue that's tight. And reverse. Good. And last one on this side. And reverse. Good. We will flip over to the other side. Pulling up into flexion, abduction, internal rotation, extension, adduction. Knees together and reverse. And again, trying to get as much range as possible as we go through this. And one more to finish off. And reverse. Excellent. Okay. That is this episode of Morning Mobility with NATEFIT. Again, we do it every morning, focused on improving the health of our tissue and the function of our joints. We're going to have different episodes every day. If you'd like more information about how to improve your mobility, you can send us a DM on Instagram at NATEFITYYC. Thank you.